Hello. How are we doing this evening? So, green screen's a little bit better. It's a little bit fuzzy down in that corner. It's the wrong way around. It flips it. That's why I always go the wrong way initially. I need to not just remember my left and right, but then reverse them. So, I was a bit frantically putting the the slides together just now, but all sorted. I think it might be a bit out of order. So yeah, welcome to the last show before Election Day. There will probably be kind of a stream on Thursday. So what I'm planning on doing is doing a bit of a sort of solo watch party. Just sat here at my computer. Less of this sort of staged me sitting here like this. I will rearrange my desk so that I'm literally just sat at my computer, looking at the votes coming in, looking at the stuff and talking about it as I go. So it might not be a very interesting show to watch on that basis, but if you're interested in what's going on, I will post stuff as I go. So similar to watching the news, I'll give a little bit of commentary as I go, and just throw news channels up as in the background or whatever. Turn on audio where I'll see how that goes. But if you're looking to get involved on that one, you can always dial into it to me. I'll set up that so you can dial in. If you're doing an actual watch party with a few friends around, having a few drinks, if you just sat at home watching the TV as well, just you can call in, you can send your messages, all that kind of stuff. For those who are like me and are very excited about how this goes, the options will be there. So I'll make more of a thing of that on social media tomorrow and Thursday, just so everyone knows what to do. As I say, you can call in live, all that kind of stuff. But we shall see. If there doesn't seem to be much engagement, I may just make it a very short one, and post a video almost certainly on Friday, but no live stream Friday and no live stream next week, I don't think either, just to give myself a bit of a week off, let the post-election hopefully jubilation, possibly doom, wear off, and get back to it after that. And it will be more about sort of local stuff, bigger issues as well, big issues that we can sort of get together and discuss and really get a good idea of to hopefully drum up some support to push whichever government it is towards doing something about it. And for local stuff on a local level, again, pushing the government, but your local MP, and basically just stuff that we can get involved with on a local level. There's been some discussion about the lack of social centres. This is something I'm definitely going to do a piece on, because someone in my family actually has, well, one of my deceased relatives was involved in social centres way back in the 60s, and I will dig out my paternal grandmother's diary if I can, and do a bit of historical research onto that one as well, because everyone seems to think of it as a recent thing, knife crime, youth going wild, and lack of social support, whereas actually this has been a off and on thing for many years. So I will get into my slides now. As I say, we've got some stuff to discuss. So, no, I'm trying to do my PowerPoint without actually bringing the PowerPoint on. That's very silly. There's still a green bit missing. Yep, I know. I do need to redo my my logo for this. I'm also going to move this way. Right. That's better, isn't it? So then it's up there. It's up there. So So let's start off by talking about how anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism. I didn't think that was a difficult word until I tried to say it on air. Anti-Semitism is back. Not like it was before, but there's been there's been comments that there is a bit of anti-Semitism coming from the Tory side this time, because there have been comments about Keir Starmer wanting to finish work at 6 o'clock and go home and spend time with his family, which seems like a weird thing to attack on. It does show the desperation of the Tories, but he's doing this because his wife is Jewish, and it is a Jewish tradition. They're not particularly strong religious orthodox. There we go. Lost the word orthodox. So they're not particularly orthodox Jews, but it is a tradition that he said that he will stick to as best as possible. I don't think he's ever said that, like, if there's a nuclear crisis that he's gonna, like, oh, gotta go home. Yep. No, he's basically said it's a tradition I would like to keep, and in a time when we're talking about work-life balance, that kind of thing, I don't think that's weird. But then there is the element of, like, on purpose or not, you're kind of being anti-Semitic to a party that you've constantly talked about anti-Semitism about. It's, whether they mean to or not, you're criticising him for upholding a Jewish tradition, whilst recently criticising his party for anti-Semitism, even though he's done great work on at least cleaning up the image on that one. Anybody who makes comments that are even slightly anti-Semitic, their feet don't touch the floor, which again is a thing that the Tories are failing at. Not only people's feet don't touch the floor, they stay on the floor and they keep the support until it's way too late, and so yeah, shows kind of the desperation of the Tories, but also how blind they are to their own hypocrisy, which is again not news. Just thought it was worth talking about there. And then on to the other desperation of the Tory party. So they've been warning about They've been warning us about a Labour supermajority, and this polling data puts anyone's fears to rest that tactic was working, because the data shows that either people are indifferent to that, or they're more likely to vote Labour. So the majority of people either don't care or are more likely to vote Labour, knowing that they might get a supermajority, even though supermajority is not a thing anyway. So that one's kind of failed, and it kind of backs up my idea that I think everyone has one of my favourite modern phrases actually is don't threaten me with a good time. Which seems to be the consensus here. It's yeah, good. And I've also heard comments of oh, what are they going to do with this huge majority? Enact their manifesto? Oh my God, that would be terrible. Speaking of that, actually, is one of the things that I keep hearing as well, is there's nothing in the manifesto, and that's insane. There's so much in there, but they seem to be getting criticised for conflicting things all at the same time. So there's nothing in there, but there's too much in there to fund. There's you get these weird kind of, they're being attacked for completely things that cannot coexist. He's the super majority means he's going to be like catastrophic, but at the same time he's boring and nothing's in the manifesto and nothing's going to change. So which is true? I personally just think yeah, give them the supermajority. And again, the main thing is not who comes first. That is pretty much a foregone conclusion. Doesn't mean don't go out and vote for Labour. If they're the ones that can beat the Tories, vote for them. But it is looking fairly certain that they will get it, and that's good. It's all about second place. But also, there's a bit of schadenfreude here, obviously. A supermajority means a super loss for the Tories. So, one thing that's been talked about recently is Portillo moments. I didn't keep my note. Sorry, I had to just dig out something from my jacket pocket from work because I'm forgetting the other person in this picture. So, people have been talking about Portillo moments. If you don't know, that is Michael Portillo lost his seat whilst running for election for the Tories, and so yeah, it was a humiliating moment for him. But as my mom pointed out, actually he handled it with surprising grace. He's actually quite a nice person. Like, if you see him on TV programs, big fan of steam trains. My mum likes him partly because of that. You know, he's quite magnanimous in defeat, and he likes steam trains. You know, that's got my mum sold. By the way, my mum loves steam trains, in case anyone didn't know that. But the other person in this photo is David Mellor, who also lost his seat. But rather than handling it with grace and aplomb, no, he had a massive hissy fit that was recorded on TV. So this is why I bring this up, because there are two different ways for this to go. There are a number of people who may lose their seat, prominent Tories in the cabinet, and we'll move on to this now. Actually, we'll bring that up. So here are some of the big five, or the big five that are looking likely. This is why I need my notes as well. Going from left to right, we've got Grant Shapps, Penny Mordaunt, James Cleverly, Jeremy Hunt, and Robert Jenrick. All of them have had their moments to be particularly despicable in the last 14 years of Tory rule, and particularly towards the later end of that, which is much as David Cameron was terrible, the second half of the second 2/3 maybe of the 14 years were most despicable. Obviously, austerity is that long tail symptom that will not go away and is bleeding into our next Labour government. So that's obviously. Let's not get into that. Anyway, these five have been particularly despicable. I've seen James Cleverly come up on TV right after a Starmer speech and just rant nonsense after that speech that had nothing to do with the speech that came before it, saying they've got no plan, blah blah blah. The usual Tory nonsense. Why BBC felt to put that on, other than balance. I don't know why you have to balance nonsense with sense. Like, sense should be balanced with a different kind of sense, or nothing at all. Anyway, so if Jeremy Hunt was to lose his seat, he would actually be the first sitting Chancellor to lose his seat in an election, which is a nice record. I hope he gets it. Penny Mordaunt, I almost don't want her to lose her seat, because I might lose a bet that I put on a whim for her to be the next Prime Minister. It doesn't actually rule her out. If she loses her seat, she can still be Prime Minister, but it definitely decreases the odds. And I think, in a way, Penny Mordaunt would be a great person, from my point of view, to lead the Tories, because she would continue leading it in the same direction it's been going, spinning round the toilet bowl and flushing it out to sea. So that said, if any of these people lose their seats, I would be quite pleased. Obviously, there is Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss, Michael Gove. These are all seen to be quite unlikely, but they are all possible because, as has been said in this election, there are no more safe seats for the Tories. They just don't exist. If your lead was 18,000 in, I don't know if there are even ones with that, but if you have thousands of seats lead in the last election, that doesn't count. That doesn't. It's not a maths that we need to look at in this one. So so it's all quite interesting. But my thought is, are they going to have Patillo moments, or are they going to have David Mellor moments? Because any of these five, plus, well, Sunak, I think, might actually take it with some sort of robotic grace. He will have a prepared statement where he'll just keep reciting it until people stop pointing a camera at him. I think that's just going to be, that's his way, isn't it? You'll see the pain behind his eyes, as you have done for the last 6 weeks, but you won't actually get any kind of a hissy fit from him. I don't know if he's capable. He's going to cry in a dark room somewhere, sure, but he won't do it on camera. He's too rehearsed for that. Not rehearsed in a good way. Anyway, I think any of these five here, especially Morden, Cleverly, Jenrick as well, Grant Shapps, all of these. I don't think James Cleverly. I think he's again, he's a bit of a robot. I don't think he could do it. But well, Jeremy Hunt would probably shake the man's hand and walk off stage and swear when the mic is off. But yeah, there is a possibility for any of these to have a massive hissy fit, which I'm really looking forward to. Again, this is Schadenfreude. I don't care. It is high time that some of these people saw some kind of comeuppance for what they've done. I think they're all criminals. There is the very least that they deserve is humiliation. I think prison for some people in the Tory party, but well. The other one actually it doesn't fall into this because they don't hold a seat, but I really want to see. No, I don't. Farage, if he doesn't get Clacton, is going to be an interesting one because my prediction is that he will do a Trump and he will say that this was all a dark conspiracy and actually we did win the vote and it was all of this stuff. I would put money on that if that was a thing that anyone's going to take a bet on. If anyone wants to bet against me, please feel free. Also, if you would like to cast a comment and say which way they will go, whether they'll go Portillo or Mellor, as in graceful or hissy fit, please comment below. So yes, coming back to this the betting scandal actually. I know I thought we were done with this as well. It kind of went away from the news, but I've managed to find something. Someone has sent this to me. Apologies about my nose, by the way. It's hay fever. Yeah, the fun part. Remember the Tories placing insider bets on the timing of the general election? That moved the betting market a lot. Labour noticed, pure observation told them the general election was coming before it was announced, so they bought all the best ad space up. This is crazy. So, not only is it a scandal now that they did it disingenuously, but it was a problem way back before the election when it was announced, because look at this. That's crazy. That is the Daily Mail online with Labour banner ads because they screwed themselves, because not only did they know the election was coming, they didn't buy up all the best ad spaces or anything like this. No, they just put bets on it. This is who they are, and this is why they deserve to lose. This is why they shouldn't get any votes or any seats, but they will, because I don't know. There is a certain kind of momentum to the Tories. But that leads us a little bit to sorry. This is from the same Twitter commenter, and so this brings us to the idea of tactical voting. So he's pointing out here, which is something I've basically been saying. We've got two main options here. It's Labour in power, no matter what, but the two options are whether it's going to be the Tories, the broken, destroyed Tory party, possibly led by Penny Mordaunt, across the aisle from Labour, or it's going to be Lib Dem. And there's a whole 14-thing tweet from this guy Edward Hayward, and he lays out all of the benefits of the Tories losing that opposition position. They lose a huge amount of funding that is awarded to the two main parties, but not to the third place, which is why the Lib Dems have been. We'll get onto the Lib Dems, but they've been doing all sorts of stunts to get the attention. Whereas the Tories won't be in a position to do that. They'll lose a huge amount of stuff, like losing out on positions and offices and all of this kind of stuff, which will mean it is unlikely they will bounce back, maybe ever, but anytime soon. So this is the thing of just they don't need just to lose first place, they need to lose second place for us to really get into it, to a good position with Lib Dem as the opposition. My thought on this as well was, because there's been people saying that the Lib Dems wouldn't be in opposition, and that's not true, because one of the things with the Labour Party is it's a bit like the Tory Party. It's not one party. The Labour have managed to, at least within the party, calm and quell the left-wing voices. There are more left-wing people than Keir Starmer in the Labour Party. He has dragged it to the centre ground, which is necessary. But once the election is done, then that fight will resume. There will be people who want to drag it to the left side, and kind of rightfully. And Starmer will not be able to use the whip quite so forcefully all the time. And that's where the Lib Dems come in, because the Lib Dems, whilst they are centre-left, they will agree with with different parts of the Labour Party at different times. So sometimes they will be in favour of the left wing of the Labour Party, who are going to want to drag it in that way. Other times they're going to want the centrist side of the Labour Party to win out. They are fiscally fairly conservative, generally. They're not like the Greens, who want to spend everything and fix everything. So that is why there will be an opposition. Not an opposition as in always trying to drag everything to the right, which will be Penny Mordaunt, either trying to drag it to the right or just bring up pointless culture war shit. It's going to be, we'll agree with you on this thing, we'll disagree with you on this thing, Mr. Starmer. And essentially that is his party as well. So that is why it will be really interesting. That's why it's quite necessary. But anyway, so tactically voting wise, look up online. There are various different sites. I will post some stuff tomorrow about where you need to go to find out about tactical voting. Also, I didn't put any slides up for this, but there is a thing I did recently, which is going around Facebook, which is basically finding out where you sit with the parties. I ended up being very close to the Green Party and nowhere near Lib Dems and Labour. I didn't think my views were particularly left wing, but that is the problem with the Overton window, because the rhetoric on TV and stuff like that has a very interesting Overton window where Nigel Farage only seems to sit just slightly outside of the window. The Tories can end up sort of looking centrist, even when they're bringing in right wing policies, and basic centre left socialism can look raving communist. So I suppose that's obscured things for me as well, and made me think I was a bit more centrist than I was. It could just be the way the poll goes, but it's worth a look to see if it changes who you think you should be voting for. I didn't then think that I should be voting for Green Party, but when we get to a possible proportional representation, then that might be interesting. So the other thing about tactical voting is that I wanted to point out, you need to do tactical voting to get the blues out. Both shades of blue, the Reform and the Tories. One of them needs to be kicked out, and the other one needs to be kept out. But when it comes to tactical voting, I know it kind of sucks, but that's why once the election is done, we all need to be pushing for a different kind of voting. There are a few different forms of proportional representation, and I would like to be looking at those once we've had our little break after the election. So I'd like people to get on board. I had some decent discussions about this with people already, but really looking into how it works in different places. There's a Germany model. There's how it was working in Scotland. We even had it for our mayoral elections, and it was taken away from us. So, if you want to get involved in that discussion and research on that, get involved with us, then I will be pushing for that in the new year. As I say, big subjects. We'll take some time with it and then get a piece together. Everyone can contribute. And then on a local level, wherever you are in the country, get involved. Bring these smaller topics up, and we'll try and get some eyeballs onto it, get some people to volunteer for something. However it is that it needs tackling, we work together to get it done, no matter where it is in the country. That's the idea. And just a little bit of fun there. I quite like this meme just because it does actually slightly make me feel sorry for Rishi Sunak, which is the only downside to this. But if you don't know the boys from the Black Stuff and Gives a Job, then I highly recommend looking up the series. And also they have a West End play coming out, or it is out now, I believe. Anyway, I might try and get tickets for that, because why not have an incredibly depressing night out? What do we have next? This is quite interesting, actually. Liam Cunningham, you may know him from the Game of Thrones. Took me a minute there. But I think this one was great as well. Your enemy isn't carrying all their belongings in a plastic bag. Your enemy is carrying an investment portfolio. Wake the fuck up. Which is about spot on for this one, because our current Prime Minister and the leader of the Reform Party both were traders. And what's the Labour leader done? Oh, he's tirelessly dedicated himself to fighting injustice and upholding the rule of law. Ed Davey, career politician, but also a campaigner for carers, because his son, essentially, he worries about what his son is going to be left with when they are not around, because he is needing care the rest of his life. So I don't know. There's maybe some stark contrast between these people, if you haven't spotted that based on the news. This one I liked again. The green removal. So this I quite like. Another meme I rather liked, and it actually sets up a video which I will show you in a minute. Tories is fear, Labour is change, Greens are Gaza, Reform is Putin because of Farage's comments about how Putin was provoked, and Lib Dems just wee. So I'll bring up this video. Apologies, I had to just sort of record it off Daily Motion because I couldn't find it on YouTube to download it. So I'll bring this up briefly.
3, 2, 1.
I think we should do it again, don't you?
So the reason I did that briefly because I was struggling to make the play icons and the timeline go away. It was a right ball ache, and I really shouldn't have wasted the effort on it in a way. But it does really bring up the idea that the Lib Dems are. People are criticising the Lib Dems for stunts, but they're getting airtime. They're getting eyeballs on them, and that little one there is one of those. It's a fairly innocuous one, but it is their entire policy. It is the Lib Dems knocking down blue dominoes. That's their strategy. They're using a Trump strategy, but in a less evil kind of way, which is get free airtime, because they do not have the funds of the other two main parties. And their whole strategy is simply take out as many blues as possible, which is why I'm really, really warming to Lib Dems. If I was in a seat where Lib Dems were the most likely to topple the Tories, I would be voting for them. Partly because I voted for them in every other election I've voted in, but also just because, tactically speaking, any blues are goal. Reform or Tory, any defeat from them is laudable. And if you have to hold your nose to do it, fine. We'll talk about a better system on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the rest of the next 5 years. Right now it's anyone but blue. Speaking of blue, Monster Raving Nazi Party have shown themselves to be exactly who we said they were all along. To borrow a phrase from Jon Stewart. Essentially, I'm not going to play any of the clips. I'm not even going to show a picture of it. You will have seen a picture or video. It can easily be found of a Reform member speaking to what he thought was one of his a leafleter for Reform, and just opening up with the most vile, homophobic, anti-Muslim hate speech that I've heard in a long time. But then again, I don't hang around with the new BNP, so I did recently get into a little bit of an altercation. At least one person watching this knows about this, but I didn't realise quite how many people there are out there who genuinely buy all this stuff about Shakira law and the Tower Hamlets is a Muslim only zone or something like this, but it was the most despicable stuff, and that leads me to the sort of the vetting and stuff like this. So Farage's defence of some of this was essentially that why do they gravitate to his party? He said, well, ironically, it's because there's no BNP anymore. That's not irony. That is, you are the new BNP, at least in their mind. And how would they get that idea? Maybe when they speak to people in your party, they say, we're the new BNP. Essentially. That is not irony. That is just who you are. And the other thing, which I found out, so I'd been told, I said about this last week, I was told that the vetting company They thought that they bought a vetting service, and actually it was a vetting software. And no, actually, what it is this whole thing was a sham. This whole lawsuit, everything, it's a complete sham. They were having their vetting done for free by Hope Not Hate. Hope Not Hate were doing the vetting and saying, you need to sack this person. He's a Nazi. Robert Tice was doing the firing up until the point when Farage came back and took power again. And then the all of that stopped, and they hired the vetting company. We're going to do the vetting ourselves, and then didn't do any vetting. This whole thing was a sham. It was an absolute steaming pile of shit, which is what Farage does. He's distracting and all this kind of stuff. I got distracted by it. I've given 3 different versions of this. Here's the bottom line. It was bullshit. Hope Not Hate were doing all of the vetting for them because that's what they do. They look for Nazis. They look for anyone who is dividing the country, and they kept showing up on the reforms box. And they decided, no, that's not right. We can't leave it to people who know how to do this. We're going to pay someone who doesn't know how to do this, and then blame them when it doesn't work. So yeah, I don't know why I left the thing that made me most angry to the end. Maybe there's something I left in here that makes me happy. Oh yeah, actually that's quite a nice meme. It's on the same subject, but I quite like that one. That's a good one. Do I have one more? No. Nope, that just makes the screen go black. There was one about a couple of gammons crying. I'm not going to try and bring that up now at this point, but I may post it. I might actually start posting these memes on the Facebook Facebook page for GrassRoots TeeVee because they're quite fun and might get some engagement. If you've got some choice memes, send them through. That's another thing I want to do on Thursday night. So yeah, Thursday night I'll do a little bit of a watch party. If you've got some memes to throw in, if you've got some comments, I'll be asking you to do that. It'll just basically a bit of a vote viewing. I don't know how long I'm going to stay up. Referring back to the Portillo moments, that was about 3:15 in the morning. I don't think I should stay up that late on a school night, but I'll see how long I go and then see what happens in the morning. So those of you who do stay up all the way till to the wee hours of the morning watching the votes coming in, can tell me all of the things the shocking news that I missed, but we will see. So maybe I'll get the espresso martinis on to keep me going at least until 1 a.m. I'm getting old these days, so all-nighters are a bit out of the question. So apologies for the block nose again. Hay fever is it's dying down a bit, but it's still not great. So thank you for joining. Couple of weeks time I'll be back properly, and it'll be I'm hoping to be a completely different format, new logo, all that kind of stuff. And I would love people to get involved as well and start bringing some local topics for us to look into, for us to discuss, to try and get some eyeballs on and get some real work happening with the channel. So that was always the idea, hence the name GrassRoots TeeVee. It's about getting organisations together, creating a platform to talk about these things and getting a nice ecosystem going for changing the country. So if you want to get involved with that, let me know. Thank you very much, and I will see you all soon.